Hi, guys. Welcome back for our daily practice questions. It is day 328, and as always, I like to first start with my introduction and disclaimer before getting started with our questions for today. So, for those of you who are familiar with me, hey, y'all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Brittany Weinstock, a family nurse practitioner and the founder and CEO of the Nursing Studio. I provide resources, tools, review courses, review videos, review books, digital flashcards, Q banks, one-on-one sessions, and more to assist nurses as well as nurse practitioners with success on their boards as well as in practice. I have been doing this since 2015, assisting nurses and nurse practitioners internationally with exam success. But y'all know my disclaimer and reminder is that we know there's no absolutes in medicine. We treat on a patient by patient basis, and any of the questions that you see here, I have designed and created based on the current guidelines that are being tested on the ANCC as well as AANP exam. Now, any of my videos where I'm teaching on things that we currently do in practice, I'll always say that so there's no confusion. So, with that being said, let's get into question number one for today. But before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're not missing any of my videos. And if you would like to gain access to my MP Test Success Toolkit, it is free and linked in the description. My website is also linked in the description, and it houses all of the resources that I do offer. And as always, I like to direct you to my business profile by simply going to Google and searching the Nursing Studio. It will bring you here where you can find my contact telephone number, link to my website, and testimonials from previous review students. All right, y'all. Question number one. A 27-year-old male presents with a painless ulcer and non-tender inguinal lymphadenopathy. RPR is positive to confirm a syphilis diagnosis. What is the recommended treatment? Is it A, doxycycline 100 milligrams PO BID times 14 days? Is it B, penicillin G? Is it C, ceftriaxone? Or is it D, acyclovir? Take a moment and tell me what you got, y'all. All right, so I always recommend reading the stem of the question first, as it allows you to slow down to ensure you're answering what is even being asked of you. So here, the stem of the question states, what is the recommended treatment? As I always tell you, if the stem is looking for a treatment, then you need to run it back and see if they provided you with a diagnosis. In this scenario, the diagnosis has been provided and the patient has syphilis. So then we need to know, how do we treat syphilis? And B is your best answer. Penicillin G is that first line option for syphilis management. Question number two. A 29-year-old woman presents with a generalized non-itchy macular papular rash involving the palms and soles, along with the malaise and lymphadenopathy. She denies any genital sores and reports that her symptoms started about 3 weeks ago. RPR is reactive with a high titer. What stage of syphilis is most consistent with these findings? Is it A, primary syphilis, B, secondary syphilis, C, early latent syphilis, or D, late latent syphilis? Take a moment and tell me what you got. All right, stem of the question here says, what stage of syphilis is most consistent with these findings? So the stem tells us exactly what we're looking for. So looking at how she's presenting, she has malaise, lymphadenopathy, but the key here is that maculopapular rash on the palms of her hands and the soles of her feet. That is secondary syphilis. Secondary syphilis is when they have that rash on the palms of their hands and soles of their feet. They have the canker sores in primary syphilis, and then the neural deficits and symptoms are in tertiary syphilis. Now, they do have like a little latent period in between secondary and tertiary, but that's typically, they're typically asymptomatic during that period. So you commonly see primary syphilis, secondary syphilis, and tertiary syphilis, because those are the things that are going to be those key identifiers. And that's what they want you to be able to show that for boards purposes. So again, primary, you have the canker sores. Secondary, you have the rash on the palms and soles. And then tertiary, you have neural symptoms. All right, lastly, question number 3. A 31-year-old woman complains of thin, gray, malodorous vaginal discharge. She has a positive whiff test, clue cells on a wet mount. What is the recommended treatment? Is it A, fluconazole, B, Bactrim, C, metronidazole, or D, clindamycin? Take a moment and tell me what you got. All right, instead of the question here states, what is the recommended treatment? So again, if they're asking you for a treatment in the stem of the question, You need to run it back and look and see if they provided you with a diagnosis. In this scenario, they have not provided us with a diagnosis, so we got to run it back a step further and look at those assessment findings. So we have a 31-year-old female complains of thin, gray, malodorous vaginal discharge. She has a positive whiff test, clue cells on the wet mount. Y'all, this is classic presentation for BV, bacterial vaginosis, right? So how do we treat bacterial vaginosis? And I always say, bacterial vaginosis is commonly known for the fishy odor on the whiff test, right? So I always say, think fishy flagell. Fishy flagell. That's the Britney's Brilliance that I call it. Fishy flagell. C is metronidazole. Metronidazole is the other name for flagell, right? So C is your best answer. All right, you guys, I hope you found this helpful. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with whoever you may think may find this beneficial as well. But y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. And if you need any of the resources that I do offer, feel free to reach out to the nursing studio. You can give us a call, shoot us a text message, or an email. And as always, everything that I do offer is linked in the bio of this channel, including my website. And as I mentioned previously, my website is also linked in the description of this video. All right, you guys, y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. Happy studying. Bye, y'all.